JKB back with another episode. Today on the show, I'm reviewing Red Dead Redemption 2. Before I get into that, let me tell you about Skip the Dishes. This is a company that watched my live show and decided, let's give this guy a sponsorship deal, and I got one. That means I'm able to order tacos any time of the day. 2 in the morning, look on the app, on my smartphone, tacos are available. Show up within half an hour, I'm stuffing my face with tacos. That's how easy it is to use the app on your phone or on the internet. But the cool part is, they've also decided to give away a ton of Game Pass codes for Xbox One. To enter for those, just click the link in the underbar. Just enter. That's it. You might win, you might not. The point is, you might win. But the really cool part here is that they've decided to give $7 off of your first order over $15. Click the second link in the underbar to sign up, and you'll get $7 off of your first order over $15, which means basically delivery is free. So order some tacos, you order some burritos, watch this video, and by the end of, a couple of videos on YouTube, you're going to be eating tacos. I mean, burritos? What do you want? What do you want? Pizza? Chicken? Let's get into the review of Red Dead Redemption 2. I know it's been a while, but I wanted to spend enough time with the game to understand what Rockstar wanted to do and what they wanted to achieve with Red Dead Redemption 2. At this point in the game, well, it's been out for 2 weeks, and I've only captured straightforward footage for this review, so this means I won't be going into the story directly, and I'll simply be going over how I feel about the experience I've had with the game for the last 2 weeks. So once again, this footage is not going to spoil anything, and there's going to be no spoilers in this review. There's one word that keeps coming to mind as I'm playing this game, and the word is escapism. And its definition is quite simple. It is the avoidance of unpleasant, boring, scary aspects of everyday life. People often have different forms of escapism based on what they enjoy doing in life. For me, video games is right up there with watching movies or building a new Lego set. Sometimes it's good to live in another fantasy world, and what Rockstar has created here goes beyond that at times to form something absolutely new in the world of escapism. It's a world within a world that will never stop surprising you with its beauty, charm, and ruthlessness. The story starts off in the worst of times. You're part of a gang that has just botched a major heist, and you've been forced into these snow-covered mountains, and there's not a lot of food around, and there's a whole gang of characters here that are kind of ticked off at each other in certain ways, but also realize they need one another to survive the situation they're in. Some may say the game starts out slow, but I'd consider myself to be more of a fan of movies over video games, so introductions like these are kind of my favorite. You really get to know the characters within the first couple of hours into the game, and you really don't have that much to do. It's kind of a smart way to push you into a world like this. You get to know the characters during the desperate times. There's a few films that I think Rockstar looked into for inspiration. There's obviously a lot of classic westerns that I'm not going to go into, but I'll mention a few here: The Hateful Eight and The Revenant. You get into the tone of The Hateful Eight with this game and its crazy cast of characters, and then you get the survival aspect of The Revenant, but in a video game form. It's like those two films had a video game baby, and that totally works for me. And this is where one of my only issues with the game comes into play. There's some other things that I can nitpick, but I'll get into that later. The game plays like it's a job at times. I play video games to have fun. I can understand that there's a song and dance that comes with games like this. You have to travel from point A to point B, and it's kind of due to its time frame. I mean, it's limited on the modes of transportation. You can either walk or you could ride a horse, and that's basically it. The problem for me is that you spend too much time traveling in this game that at times it feels like it is a job, and I don't think video games should feel that way. I mean, how many times have you ever turned on a game and thought, oh man, I can't wait to spend an hour walking while nothing happens? However, I mean, there's something brilliant that happens in this game that I don't think a lot of people are taking into consideration, and it's something that a lot of other studios wouldn't be able to pull off. And that's the crazy amount of side I'm going to call it distractions that you have during the travel times in this game. It's hard to complain about the game being boring when you never know when something crazy is about to happen, from a wild horse just coming down the path in front of you to crazy gang members who are out to rob you. There's always something new that's about to happen. It's just kind of annoying waiting for those things to happen, and I'll be honest with you, it's boring at times, but then all of a sudden, there's just so much content in front of you that you feel kind of overwhelmed. In fact, I feel that way every time I turn on the game. There's one thing that nobody can deny, and that's visually speaking. It's easy to say that this is the best looking console game that's ever been on a console to date. It's best played on Xbox One X, and no, I'm not being sponsored by Xbox saying that. It's just the facts. The animation is just unbelievable. It really goes by my expectations. I thought we were going to get the next level of animation, but in this, the amount of things they needed to animate, the amount of work that the animation team did, the amount of work that the art department did is staggering. There's this other issue that some people are having with the game, and that's the controls. Rockstar has always tried to do its own thing when it came to control systems, and I'm a fan of tapping the button to run, kind of. I mean, no, kind of, I don't know. But I understand why it's like that. I understand why Rockstar wants you to tap the button. Because after a while, you do build up some stamina, and it changes dynamically through how much you play the game. That's kind of interesting to me. They're always trying to put some dynamic spin on every single event or every single thing you can do in the game, and that's impressive. That's saying a lot. A lot of studios don't give a shit about that. I think for me, the most incredible thing in Red Dead Redemption 2 is just the world. It's a character in its own right. It's alive with NPCs around every corner. There's never a single dull moment when it comes to your interaction with the NPCs. You could be walking and you'll find an old man on top of a mountain doing absolutely nothing except looking into the distance, talking about his treasure. And at this point in time, you could decide to kill him, take the map, you could help him find the treasure. You could do so many different options that it's just staggering. And we're talking about one NPC on the top of a mountain. Like, let's not even get into the other thousands of NPCs that you run into and all of their custom dialogue. And it is just overwhelming at times, and the amount of work that went into the voice acting as well is unbelievable. Let's get to the good, the bad, and the ugly of Red Dead Redemption 2. I'll start with the ugly, and to be honest, I wouldn't say that there's anything in this game that I would consider to be quote-unquote ugly. Perhaps the violence can be considered ugly at times, but that's an incredible achievement. Never have I ever felt in any game period as horrible as I have felt in this game after gunning down a random NPC. There's absolutely no other game like it. I've never, ever had a hard time hunting animals in a game because I thought, well, it's a video game. But in this game, they do things which I will not give away in this review, but they do things with the animals that bring it to a new level of realism that make you question even reality around you. Like, you feel like you are a complete dirtbag after you kill a poor little rabbit. It is absolutely insane, but you also realize you needed to kill the rabbit to stay alive. It's insane. The game is so insane. Never have I felt like I needed to be good in a game or good to other people. The only bad thing I have to say about this game is the travel times are absolutely insane, and nobody likes playing a game that feels like work. The good, well, everything else in the game is good, from the music, the sound design, the visuals, the story, the amount of content, the world. I could go on and on about this game for 20 to 30 minutes, but I'm sure a lot of people are probably playing this game right now and probably going to drop around 400 hours plus once the online side gets up and going, and I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid to actually try it out because it's going to be something that I just don't have time for, and in knowing that, I'm going to feel sad I can't play the game. Overall, I'll make it easy on myself. because now I don't really have to do a Game of the Year video, because guess what? This is easily my Game of the Year. It's a solid 10 out of 10. I can understand why some people have issues with the controls and how boring the game can be at times, but the moments in between the boring times are worth the experience easily. I mean, I've had an absolute journey bringing this game to you guys. I hope all of you get to experience this, and I want to thank once again Tech Therapy, who built my custom PC, by the way. He actually supplied the review copy for this, so shout out to Tech Therapy. Don't you know, I'm going to send you another copy of a game. That's my impersonation of him. And then in closing, thank you so much to Skip the Dishes. Once again, if you guys want to win some Game Pass codes, click the first link down there. If you want $7 off your first order of $15 or more, click the second link and sign up. Order some tacos. I'm going to go now. Have a good day. Love you guys. Consider subscribing if you like what I did in this video. I've got another video on Fallout 76 coming along, but I wanted to drop at least 35 hours into the game before I crapped all over it. See you on the next episode. Wait, that's not my outro. See you on the next episode of JKB. Well, that's not it either, but I miss you guys. That's why I'm still talking. Okay, I'm going now. Love you. Bye. Mwah.